You would all please stand.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that we can gather here tonight to have the freedom to make decisions for our city and just be with each of us and help us to make the best decisions that we can for our citizens. Dear Lord, we're grateful for the freedom that we have to do that and for the men and women who have fought and died through the years and to keep that freedom precious and available to us. Dear Lord, we just hope that you'll bless each and every person here and get them home safe. And we're thankful, dear Lord, for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Carl, will you please call the roll? Here.
Here.
Commissioner Sykes?
Here.
Commissioner Randall?
Here.
Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
All present?
Our first kind of item of business, so to speak, is Census Week 2020 Person Counts Proclamation. So if you would bear with me, I'm going to read this proclamation. Okay, proclamation from the City of Aztec, Census Week 2020, every person counts. Whereas the U.S. Census Bureau is required by the U.S. Constitution to conduct a count of the population and provides a historic opportunity to help shape the foundation of our society and play an active role in American democracy. Whereas the City of Aztec is committed to ensuring every resident is counted. Whereas federal and state funding is allocated to communities and decisions are made on matters of national and local importance based, in part, on census data and housing. Whereas New Mexico receives approximately $8 billion in federal funding every year and stands to lose $750 million for every 1% undercount in the 2020 census. Whereas census data helps determine how many seats each state will have in the U.S. House of Representatives and is necessary for an accurate and fair redistricting of state legislative seats, county and city councils, and voting districts. Whereas information from the 2020 Census and American Community Survey are vital tools for economic development and increased employment. Whereas the information collected by the census is confidential and protected by law. Whereas a united voice from business, government, community-based and faith-based organizations, educators, media, and others will enable the 2020 census message to reach more of our citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Aztec Commission hereby proclaims March 30th through April 4th, 2020 as Census Week and encourages all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in the 2020 census and raise understanding about the importance of an accurate and complete count. Passed, approved, and adopted this 10th day of March 2020. Commissioners of the City of Aztec, New Mexico. Thank you. Okay, next up is agenda approval. If there are any items that do not meet the approval for being heard on tonight's agenda, now is the time to remove those items. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept tonight's agenda as given.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept tonight's agenda as given.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next up is consent agenda. Items placed on the consent agenda will be voted upon with one motion. If any item proposed does not meet the approval of all commissioners, a commissioner may request that the item be heard under items from consent agenda. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda as given.
Mayor, I move to approve this evening's consent agenda as given.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. We are moving right along. We have a couple of presentations. We have a citizen recognition. Mr. Mueller or Chief?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll turn it over to Chief Hill.
Okay. Good evening, Chief.
Thank you very much. I have a very special recognition tonight. Mr. Carl Lincoln, would you please come up here? The other afternoon, I'm sure Richard was, it was in the rain. We got a call at the police department that the laying on the ground, had his injury open like he was supposed to have it open. He had done chest compressions. The subject was breathing, his heart was beating, and because of his actions, we have our citizen in Aztec still with us. We were trying to get a hold of him. We had him with us today, Mr. Peterson, but I couldn't get a hold of him. We did know that he was a pacemaker man, was driving his car, and was just doing really well. So we wanted to give this a little from the police department and lifesaving award to acknowledge Carl Lincoln and his acknowledged for his outstanding actions. Thank you very much.
I live at 508 Lovers Lane, if you ever want to just kind of hang out, when I'm out raking leaves or something, you never know. But no, seriously, all joking aside, that's amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next presentation is San Juan County CASA, Miss Amy O'Neill. Whichever.
Either.
Whichever one you want.
Except there's
So
no.
we're going to listen to the children speak first.
My name's Alonzo Pollock, and I'm 3 years old. And I'm standing on the front steps. My brother and I have been waiting for my mother to come out and take us to the beach. So my mother's inside the house doing what she normally does. She's probably getting high, but we're waiting for her on the steps. And all of a sudden, this woman comes out of the house and just stabs me in the back 4 times. After that, I don't remember anything. I just blacked out.
Hi, my name is Pamela, and I am 6 years old. We've been traveling around for quite some time now, and it's cold. And tonight we're sleeping in the back of a U-Haul, and we don't have any blankets. And I don't want to eat.
I'm glad I met my CASA because I don't have to live that life. I don't. A lot of people live that life because they have to. But I don't have to because I have an option. I have a CASA now. Because there was something that took interest in me that I didn't have before. Because when you're in these foster homes, you get lost.
Home is where you come from. Where you come from is where you don't want to leave. It feels kind of wonderful because I got my guardian ad litem next to my side and my family next to my side. It feels kind of wonderful. It makes me feel like I have people who care for me. And now I'm back home, I'm just I'm happy. Turning my CASA was a trusted friend, an advocate, a voice. So it makes me feel good to have brothers and sisters who can look out for me. If I could tell everyone one thing, I'd probably tell her that I love her and she's a great mom. To give them a voice, and to give them a voice is to give them hope, and to give them hope is to give them the way. And I write that from my heart. I don't know what I'd do without my CASA. I don't even imagine.
Good evening. My name is Amy O'Neill, and I am the program director for the San Juan County CASA program. We are right now recruiting for our training that is coming up in April. So we wanted to talk to you about what a CASA volunteer is. So a CASA volunteer is a trained community volunteer who advocates for a child in foster care to get to a safe and permanent home. And you might think to yourself, well, we have a lot of programs that help children in San Juan County. Why do we have a CASA program? So the CASA program was started in Seattle, Washington in the mid-1970s. There was a judge in Seattle that saw a recurring thing happening in his courtroom. When he went home at night and he had to make a decision regarding an adult like you and me, he felt pretty good about his decision. But when he had to make a decision regarding a child, he said to himself, Did everybody really have time to do their job? Or is this child who's been a victim of abuse and neglect going to be a victim of our overburdened social system? And so it was here we started the Casa Volunteer Program in the mid-1970s, and it's grown to be in all of our 50 states. Here in San Juan County, it was started by our Chief Judge, Karen Townsend, when she was on the Board of Directors of Child Haven, and came under the umbrella of Child Haven in 1998. So luckily, we've grown over the years here in San Juan County, but we still do not have enough volunteers to advocate for all the children in foster care in San Juan County. So we're always recruiting new volunteers, and luckily myself, I'm here since March of 2000, so I've been able to see over the years 45% of the children returning home to their parents, which is a wonderful thing to see after the parents have taken care of the safety issue. Casa Volunteers may be taking a birthday card from the children to their mom who's in the detention center because they can't go to see her right there. Different things that the Casa Volunteers have been able to do to help that child speak up and to let the judge know what is going on for the child and the child's family. So right now I'm going to introduce my colleague. Becky Adams is our Casa Volunteer Supervisor, and she is going to talk about the role of the Casa Volunteer.
You may be wondering why we need Casa Volunteers. Well, think about the legal system, the complicated foster care system. These are adult systems, and they're hard enough for adults to navigate. And then when the voice is small or the years are young and you have a child standing there in the legal system, in the foster care system, sometimes that little voice gets lost. And so the CASA tries to get to know the child well enough that they can speak up for the needs of that child. They go to family-centered meetings and meet with the parents, the respondents, the attorneys, the therapists, CYFD. They meet with those people. They speak out for the child there. They go to treatment team meetings. They hear what the therapists have to say there. If the child has therapy, they get to know what that child is needing. They speak up for them there. And then ultimately, they write a court report to the judge, which assists the judge to know where that child is, what the placement is like, the appropriateness of the present care, and what that child might need for the future. And we'll make recommendations right to the judge. One of the things that we do is speak out for the child in an educational manner, educational advocacy. One of the children I was able to serve, a teenager who had been on the streets, had got into substance abuse. She had missed so much school that everybody thought she would never catch up. She was so behind, they thought that she would be set back. She was reunited with a non-offending parent, and because the parent was interested in helping her, and the advocate, I was able to advocate for her, and she was able to catch up and began making straight A's. Last I heard, she wanted to be a veterinarian, and I think she would make a great one. In 2019, we had 2 trainings. We had 12 new volunteers that were sworn in. That resulted in 67 active volunteers during 2019. We were able to serve 154 children in San Juan County. However, we had 13 that did not have a CASA volunteer. We were able to reach 92%. So that was an accomplishment, but we would rather have 100%. So, who can be a CASA volunteer? Keba Guan is going to talk about that.
Hello. So, of course, we wanted to reach out to everybody here because we do a lot of recruitment in Farmington, but we also are trying to push for more residents within the whole San Juan County. That includes Aztec and Bloomfield, so we appreciate your time tonight to reach out to the community here. So to be a CASA volunteer, you have to be 21 years or older. You have to pass a background check, and that's just, working around children. And attending our upcoming pre-service training that starts April 7th, and it is 5 full nights and 1 full Saturday, which is April 11th. We do ask for a 1-year full commitment, and that is just to work a case, and hopefully within that time, the child is reunified with their family or else potentially another placement for them. So we are in need, as Becky has said, so if we can get more volunteers to get back to that 100%, which we've met only one time last year for about 2 months before we got new cases in. So if we could help serve all these children in San Juan County and have every child here with a CASA would be great. That's our purpose, is to serve the children and to give them a voice in the time that they're need. And so our mission, of course, is to help our children and help them find a safe and permanent home. And I would like to share our info with you. This is just our brochure in our upcoming schedule. So if anybody here is a CASA volunteer, we just brought some extra handouts. If you feel like you're interested, please give us a call. If not, maybe you can share the information with somebody that you feel who would make a great CASA, and we would appreciate it.
Any questions?
One quick one. What does CASA stand for?
Court-appointed special advocate volunteer.
Thank you.
So the CASA volunteer is appointed by the district judge to advocate for the child.
Okay.
Any other?
There it says right there.
And so you'll see in the training, we're very lucky to have the experts in the field of child welfare who train the CASA volunteers, and they volunteer their time from Judge Townsend to the CYFD social workers, to the attorneys who represent parents and children, to the people that work at Family Crisis Centers. So we're very lucky to have all those people help train the CASA volunteers.
I have maybe it's just different titles or called something different. What's the difference between a CASA and, like, say, a guardian ad litem? Other than, is it just because of the volunteer status, or?
So that's a very good question. So in some of the 50 United States, in Florida, North Carolina, and Minnesota, the program is called guardian ad litem. And then in New Mexico, we're very lucky that every child has their own attorney. So children up to age 14 is called a guardian ad litem attorney. 14 and over is called a youth attorney. So New Mexico not every state did have an attorney for every child until just recently. And so New Mexico, we've been lucky that our children have always had an attorney to represent them.
Okay.
And then the volunteer position. So in the areas, Florida, where they don't quite have enough, and North Carolina, and it's a guardian ad litem program, they still are volunteers, but they call them guardian ad litems, and they do have a little bit of a different role.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item, I think, is citizens input. Do we have anybody signed up for citizens input? Okay. So moving on to business items. We have business item A, final adoption of ordinance 2020-500, amending Chapter 16, Section 16-211, solid waste.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor Commission, this is a request to approve final adoption of that ordinance. The intent to adopt was done on February 11th, 2020, with the changes that you'll see on the screen up there with the rate adjustments, so on and so forth. We've had a few comments come in via social media as well as phone contacts. There were some comments about they were opposed to doing away with the convenience center down at the General Services Yard as a way to maybe empty their recycle bin at the house, with one time a month collection. There was also a couple of comments requesting for additional pickups of the recycle containers, like twice a month, which had been considered. And I think in total there was probably maybe around 10, 15 that I'm aware of right now with comments to that effect.
Okay.
Mayor, I did see one, I don't know if you saw that same one, I saw an email or was it a text that he sent? Anyway, just wondering why they weren't getting back the whole $2.35 if we were doing away with the convenience center, but not realizing that there was a lot of other things in play there.
Correct, and that was to
The
supplement
adjustment
Well,
to
with
the-
for the fee,
CFI,
the
yeah,
the
the-
admin fee
Right.
for staff at the finance department, utility department as
Right.
well.
Right.
So I think we still just need to educate people as much as we can. I mean, you can always put stuff out there, but you can't make them read it, so.
Right.
About why, how things play out. I mean, they weren't taking into consideration the new fuel cost and our
Correct,
cost and
that
then the
CPI
other things.
adjustment.
Right, so, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw, or I got a phone call that was kind of similar, just asking for a little bit more detail about, if they eliminated that, how come we're still, only
Getting
having a little bit taken off our
60
bill and not
cents.
the whole amount, et cetera. Yeah,
right.
Does anybody else have any other questions or comments for the city manager?
I did get 2 comments, but about not wanting to close the convenience center, but they're both from people that lived outside city limits.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had that too.
Mine too. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and close this out, and I would entertain a motion for business item A. Yes,
Mayor,
ma'am?
I'd like to move to approve the final adoption of ordinance 2020-500, amending Chapter 16, Division 3, Section 16-211, solid waste and recycling rates.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Snover,
Aye?
Mayor Pro Tem Fry,
Aye.
Commissioner Seitz,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Next is business item B, final adoption of ordinance 2020-501, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Division 6 Municipal Judge.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, that just clarified language that we thought might be unclear as to when that change would occur. And this clarifies that the compensation adjustment occurs at the start of the new term for an elected municipal judge.
Okay. So it will take effect
April.
basically in April?
Correct.
Right, okay. I assume so, I just wanted to clarify. Okay.
And to date, I'm not aware of any comments.
Nor am I haven't gotten it personally. Open up for discussion. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for item B, please.
Mayor, I move to approve final adoption of ordinance 2020-501, amending Chapter 2, Administration, Division 6, Municipal Judge.
Second it.
Motion and a second. Carla, please call the roll.
Mayor Snover,
Aye?
Mayor Pro Tem Fry,
Aye.
Commissioner Seitz,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
motion passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you. Business item C, FY20 funding request for Four Corners Economic Development, also known as FORSED.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, this, if you'll recall, back in the fall, we get a request from FORSED semi-annually. In the past, it had been, each submission was for $10,000 for a total of $20,000 for the year. In the fall, this was brought before the commission as well with a request for $10,000. At that time, the commission approved $2,500. We have just recently got the new invoice for FORSED with the request for $10,000, and what this is for the determination of the amount of funding that the commission would like to approve for Four Corners Economic Development
Okay.
for the remainder of the year.
I suspect we might have a little bit of discussion on this. So let's go ahead and open it up for, well, first, any questions, I guess, of the city manager, just to kind of clarify anything? I think we all kind of know what's,
No question.
the situation.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I would just like to recommend that we consider 7,500. We would be cutting their amount in half, saving 10,000 to our budget, and still having consideration for FORSED's budget that, there wasn't a decision made previously, and I think it could be a hardship if we cut it any further. So I'm recommending that we consider 7,500 for this invoice, and we both are adjusting by $10,000.
And then we have a new budget coming up, and we can relook at our commitment and see what we ought to do for next year's budget.
Okay. Does anybody have any input? I mean, I think, and with all due respect to the Mayor Pro Tem, I appreciate, kind of cutting right to the chase. But I think there's still, for me, some unanswered issues and questions. And I'm not saying I'm necessarily for or against your proposal whatsoever. So I'll give anybody else an opportunity maybe to chime in real
Mayor?
quick. Yes, ma'am?
I'd just like to say, I really appreciated the presentation that Arvin did at the last meeting. I think it clarified a bunch of stuff in the direction that they're, I kind of knew, but it just clarified the direction that they're heading and looking and bringing more, with the tribes and stuff, bringing them into play on a lot of this stuff too. I was very impressed with that. I think it's very important for us to keep a connection with ForSed, just as a unit and as a regional,
Right.
to get any benefit that we can get out of that as far as economic development goes. So I'm kind of on the same page that the Mayor Pro Tem is about, to just do the 75, which would bring us up to the 10,000 for the year. So.
Okay.
One of my, I think the challenge for Aztec and ForSed is mainly composed of business people. And Aztec business people don't attend ForSed. There may have been some recent efforts to recruit businesses, but it's when you're there, you really feel all alone because of the very low participation of Aztec in the organization. So just, for future, and we can talk about that at EDAB and recommend that businesses consider coming to ForSed. But lots of good information has been provided and presentations have been offered about regional situations. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents about needing to have more positions at the table at ForSed.
Yep, Mayor. No, same thing. I did greatly appreciate the presentation, and what I kept going back to is like the idea of unifying everyone, the tribes and the municipalities and the counties and even the states in the Four Corners area, and it really helped me, understand and look forward to it, and 7,500 was exactly what I was thinking. So I think it's fair, and for both sides, and like you said, if we have a better budget year next year, we'll just keep reevaluating it, but I think it would be a good thing, and I'm comfortable going forward with that amount.
Got to add one thing. I actually got my voice back, which is good. I remember meeting Arvin when he first was appointed acting, and he came and spoke, and I think it was to myself and Commissioner Fry. And his message was pretty clear then, but he really cleared it up during his presentation for us here, so that helped a lot. And I feel like 20,000 was a little too high. That was way out of my budget range for support for the year, because we just didn't have it. The city is watching its purse strings pretty closely. But I think I go along with what others have said here, to keep it at 10 for the year. I think that'd be fair, and also would allow them to continue without too much consternation then.
Okay, well, I guess it's my turn to kind of weigh in a little bit. And and I just want to say up front, I'm not opposed to $7,500. In addition to the $2,500 we've already paid. Only, and I'll be honest with you, only because I don't think it's fair to, and I kind of use this analogy with my students, unfortunately, that it's kind of like if you're unhappy or maybe you're not satisfied fully with something they've been doing, and you kind of let it go and you let it go, and you don't really say anything to them, you don't do anything differently, and then all of a sudden you kind of pull the rug out from under them, so to speak, without any real explanation, and you're clearly angry with them. But this whole time you've been kind of just letting things ride in a manner of speaking, and then you punish them harshly, so to speak, and I don't think that's fair to ForSed to just suddenly say, okay, we're not giving you anything when you're accustomed to, us partnering at a certain level. But with that said, I do have some concerns. One, I have a concern, unless there's something that I haven't heard about, I don't think we've been presented with any kind of agreement between Forset and the city, and nor any talks of doing such. And I have to take a little bit of exception to the just kind of the sending out of the invoice. It's kind of an automatic thing, and I take exception to that it's known that we had some concerns with this new budget year going forward with the request from Forset that it's not just going to be a check the block thing moving forward, and yet we still received another $10,000 invoice with no real closure on what our plans were or how we were moving forward. We had a presentation at the last meeting, and in the interim, we received another $10,000 invoice. So I do take issue with those things, and I hope that moving forward, as we consider funding again for the new budget year, that those things are addressed. I guess that's kind of the best way I could put it. So, does anybody?
I have one other.
Yes, sir.
Pardon me, I'm sorry. Allergy season is here. I don't know what we could do to pick up where Commissioner Fry had spoken about, to encourage some of the local Aztec businesses to take part in some of the aforesaid activities or meetings or be involved with it. I don't know what we can do to encourage that, but I think if there's any way we can, I think that would also give us a better, pardon the expression, bang for our buck. Because if we have local businesses involved in that organization, we're probably going to get a lot better feedback. Not that that wasn't a good report, but we get good feedback from people who are right here in our little town. So
I would expect that they would, and again, I don't know what the level is or how they, if and how, but I think that's kind of contingent. That's Forset's responsibility to recruit business owners in Aztec to try and round out the table a little bit. It's more Farmington, and I get it. They are the bigger area. They have the biggest population. I expect that they proportionally would have higher representation because all of the bigger businesses, the larger, the hospital, the oil and gas companies are mainly headquartered in Farmington. But it's Four Corners economic development, not Farmington oil and gas and hospital development. And I recognize that that is the bulk of some of the larger drivers of the economy here, but I do think that our Main Street businesses they're important to us, so if they're important to us, they should be important to the folks that are giving us the quote-unquote seat at the table, so to speak. And I think that's their job to start recruiting a little heavier, and we'll see how that goes, between now and budget time. I think it's important that they start, their community outreach is a little more vigorous. It may be, and I just may not be seeing it, but I don't know. We have a couple of business owners right here. I don't know if they've been approached by Forset to have any representation. I don't know. I'm not asking to put anybody on the spot. I'm just saying, So, moving forward,
okay.
I appreciate the comments, and, I think that was some good discussion. Not that we have to knock it now. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add or any further comments or questions? Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and close the discussion and entertain a motion for item C. I did have one, and this is kind of not specific to Forset. It's specific to the funding requests, because there's another one after this with the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm sure it's something that my brain just isn't able to process. But for the first one, it says available balance for appropriation 17.5, and then the next one, it says available balance $7,721. I'm sorry.
That's the one we make decisions on for nonprofits. The next request
So
is
that
the
has nothing,
piano.
there's two different pots of money essentially.
Forset was separately set aside.
Oh, because the budget appropriation was 20,000 and we already gave him 2,500.
Right.
I'm sorry. When he said that, it just clicked. My apologies. I told you it would probably be something very simple. So thank you. Okay, so with that said, I apologize. Let's go ahead and entertain a motion for business item C, please.
Mayor, I move to approve annual funding to Four Corners Economic Development in the amount of $7,500.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Silver,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Fry,
Aye.
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 Okay, very good, thank you. All right, and business item D, the Aztec Chamber of Commerce funding request.
I have to recuse myself.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Mr. Mayor Commission, I think Commissioner Fry and Sandy Waymore are gonna
Do the
do
presentation?
their yes.
Okay. Welcome, thank you for coming.
Me first? Yes. This couldn't be happening without the chamber. And so a few weeks ago, I posted a picture of a piano painted like a raccoon on Facebook. Well, and in that post, I said I would buy the first piano for Aztec if we were interested in such a project of painted pianos. Well, I had a flood of offers. 4 pianos were immediately offered for this project, and so it began. I had no idea the support that would be offered, and that the chamber would jump in and offer to be the nonprofit, and the issues that started coming up that we started resolving. I've asked Ed to show you some painted pianos. The popularity of painted pianos is across the country. Big cities have these out for people to enjoy. There's one similar to the one I originally posted. And it's just fun, and it's combining public art and music and inviting people to play the piano. I don't know if you remember as a child, if you walked in somebody's house, Aunt so-and-so, don't touch the piano. And we're begging you to touch the piano. And that's what all these do. Most of them have play me, play equals joy, play equals music. Well, we're going to have 4 pianos in Aztec. And it comes with some expenses, as I discovered as I started putting this whole thing together. So let me tell you where we are right now. First of all, we were given a player piano, fully functioning, by Annette Abend, and I thought, oh my goodness, just a beautiful piano. So I went to Cindy at the Senior Center, and what I was going to ask is I was going to say, would you store this or have this available at the Senior Center off-season while we figure out where we're going to put it? She said, I'll trade you 2 pianos for that player piano. Yes! So, our Parks and Rec guys loaded up that very heavy player piano. We took it to the Senior Center, and so it's now over there. And in the process of having those 2 pianos, Cindy and Connie said, well, we want to paint one of the pianos. They had been looking at all these pictures and decided they wanted to do that. So great. So one of them is being painted at the Senior Center, and the player piano is there. And the player piano is not going to be painted or touched. It's just going to be there for the seniors to enjoy. Well, then the other piano was moved to Tim Gordon's house. He's got this beautiful shop. He's an artist at Feet of Clay, and I must thank the support of Feet of Clay and the artists that step forward that want to paint these pianos. So Tim's going to be painting one, and then a piano is going to be delivered to Soaps on Main, because Sandy and Mike have just been so supportive and helping with moving pianos, and we needed a space for that piano, and it's going to be painted at Soaps on Main. Bonnie Adams then will be ready to paint a piano as soon as she gets back from vacation. Tweety Blansett donated a piano that is an antique from the late 1800s. She knows the history of it, and it's just an incredibly beautiful piano. We haven't really decided to pull that out of there and paint. We've been seeing if maybe the museum would find a spot for it. An incredible instrument. So where are these going to be? Well, I met with Mr. Mueller and Mr. Saavedra, and we talked about a piano on the plaza. You know, perfect. 550 wants a piano. Susan at Little Aztec Flower Shop is quite interested in a piano, of course. If you know Susan and her enthusiasm, and Willie plays the piano. Hey. The Boys and Girls Club would welcome a piano either seasonally to put inside, because we won't keep these out year-round. They'll just be out for a season. So the idea is to have them out for a period of time between May and October for public. Now, there's other considerations. We've got to protect them. We've got to buy covers. I have research covers that are waterproof and can protect the piano. We've been talking about who's going to put that cover on, where will the piano be, and we just feel certain that the community downtown is going to come together to help us with this. I also put in the budget for some shade tarps, so no direct sun would be on the pianos. We'll need some money for tuning and possible repairs. I put in money for dollies, even though there's a possibility of building some dollies. That was kind of mentioned this morning, but supplies are still important for that. Tim Gordon got Lowe's to donate paint, hundreds of dollars worth of high-quality paint. But there are still other materials that are needed by the artists. And, you know, they're already donating significant amount of time, and we're going to have works of art on free pianos. So we need to cover their expenses. So the total of those things comes to $2,700. We included in that some funds to pay people to, let's have some outdoor events, let's have concert on the plaza, and so we need a little money to help with that. There's good things happening downtown. Coffee shop's gonna open, the barbecue place is gonna open, there's a new retail store next to Soaps on Main, the salon is opening next to Feet of Clay, and now we're gonna have public art in Aztec. And I just wanna invite everybody down with their kids, grandkids, and enjoy this outdoor public art. Okay?
On behalf of the chamber, we want to thank Mayor Pro Tem Fry for all of her work, because there's no way all of this could have gotten all this together and do. We look forward to seeing how this grows. And the Aztec community seems to be wanting more events downtown, and to me, this is a great start for that. Any questions for us?
No, I just want to thank you all for putting this work in, and I think it's great when businesses and folks from the city work together, and it's kind of a low price of entry. You know, we don't have to spend thousands of dollars on an event that may or may not catch on. And it's just kind of a way to kind of start some grassroots, you know, kind of cool stuff, you know. Come and play the pianos, go drink a few adult beverages if you're so inclined, have some barbecue, go to Feet of Clay. I mean, there's so many things, and we've been talking about this for the last few meetings, and I think it's exciting that we have some folks that are really wanting to kind of get involved and take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and move forward. And even then, it's still it's a low cost.
And these funds will get us through and get us started for this season.
Right.
And then I have requested an application from the Connie Gotch Foundation that, finances art projects in communities, and everybody thinks this probably, because this doesn't come to an end unless we
Right.
just don't do it.
Right.
Future pianos, I think, I would like to see the schools get involved in an art project and be inspired by these incredible pianos to paint one themselves, and on it goes. So we hope it'll catch on.
I think it's exciting.
I'm excited too.
Thank you both. Does anybody have any other questions or comments? Okay.
I think it's wonderful.
So I guess without any further ado, would somebody please entertain a motion for item D, or present a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve funding to Aztec Chamber of Commerce for the public art piano project in the amount of $2,700 and request a project report be presented to the City Commission by October?
They said they're gonna go through October, so maybe like November or December?
November.
That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
comfortable- yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I think
I'll
that's-
second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Carla, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Silver,
Aye.
Commissioner Sykes,
Aye.
Commissioner Randall,
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
motion passes 4-0.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Next is, and thank you again, Mr. Wayborn, I appreciate that, and the rest of the chamber. Next is Commissioner, City Manager, and Department Head reports. Mr. Mueller.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to give a shout out to Carla, Sherilyn, and Louisa up here over the past month or so through the voting process. We extended voting, early voting this year by a couple of weeks, and pretty much went off without a hitch. A few hiccups here and there, but you know that happens. So thanks to Carla and Sherilyn and Louisa and the rest of the staff that assisted. We're going to do a special meeting on March 31st to swear in our new commissioner, say thank you to our outgoing commissioner, and then we'll do the formalities of the boards and all that good stuff. And then also Tina tonight has her rescue trailer, new rescue trailer out in the parking lot. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look
I
at it
think
before.
I think we all got to check it out up here anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna be out there again for a little bit after the meeting, so, great looking trailer, lots of stuff inside, and
And thanks
thanks Tina for,
accepting it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to have it here.
it's a good thing. Thank you, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Mr. Cobble?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I'd like to echo Mr. Mueller's comments as far as the staff with the voting. We didn't have any legal issues, thank goodness, but I was also very impressed with the citizens and the turnout we had. If you looked at the numbers compared to the other cities relative that had elections on last Tuesday or the 3rd, I was very impressed. I think we dang near quadrupled a couple of cities, so congratulations to the city. I mean, that's how you get involved, that's how you make a difference in your community, and I know that we've been talking a lot about making a difference in our community, whether that's business-wise or through the special projects that Mayor Pro Tem has led up. So congratulations on that. Also, congratulations to the winners, Mr. Randall, Mr. Padilla, Judge, even though you didn't have everybody run with, but congratulations. As far as the other issue that we are starting to work on, the alcohol issue on the Sunday sales, and hopefully we can have something to put forth to the public here pretty soon and get that going. Also, I did attend the Mayor's Ball this past weekend. It was a wonderful event for a wonderful nonprofit. Mr. Mayor did a wonderful job representing the city of Aztec with his opening comments. I kind of got there right before dinner was served, but he was the first speaker that I heard, and I thought he did a wonderful job. Also, I am a guardian ad litem for the Child Abuse and Neglect Courts here in Farmington, New Mexico, and I would just please ask everybody to consider being a CASA volunteer. They do an awesome job, and it's an awesome way to get involved with the youth and some of the, I would say probably, wouldn't say negative things that we have in our community, but it's also a good way to make a positive impact on your community. And if you ever need any help on getting connected with Miss O'Neill, I'd be more than happy to connect you. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Lewis?
I attended the San Juan Water Commission meeting last Wednesday. It was pretty routine. They approved the budget for the year, which is $29,000 less than last year. $24,000 less than the year before, which I thought was pretty good. We are still looking at possible shortages as the water issues progress this year. I know we had good snowpack last year, but it wasn't enough, and we didn't have any late snow, or very little. And so we're keeping a close eye on that. And as, I don't know if it was in the newspaper, you probably saw it, but they will not be pumping into Bridges Basin or to Lake Nighthorse this year because the water levels are not expected to be, well, the water levels will be okay, but they're rebuilding the intake structure there, and they won't be able to pump into Lake Night Horse. So it's still full, or mostly full. So we still have our water in there, but we won't be able to replenish it for at least a year, if not maybe a tad longer. So that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Randall?
I also attended the Mayor's Ball this last weekend. It was a lot of fun for all those that went and attended. I had a good time, despite my injury, but it was fun. I thought the election also was a great turnout, and I was pleased with at least the results. And I think it was really great just to see the percentage of the turnout. It was really cool to see, and I appreciate all the support. And of course, our fishing report this was on the 3rd, they put 101 trout in Riverside Pond. I know there's a few less there now because my brother-in-law, who can't ever catch a fish, actually caught a stringer full of fish out of there this last weekend, so good for him. And Tiger Park got about 1,200, so they put some 16 inch trout in there also, so some bigger ones. So Tiger Park and Riverside stocked, so get out and go fishing if you get a chance. And that is all.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sapp?
Just, well, on that note, I was walking on last Friday, I think it was, and there was like 12, I counted, there was like 12 cars up at Tiger Reservoir. There was people all over around the reservoir fishing that day. So I had seen where they had stocked it, so I'm like, everybody saw that. I would like to thank all those who ran for election and for the voter turnout. It was nice to see that we had a good turnout this time, and I appreciate all the help that different groups got out to get people out there to vote and everything. So that's what it's all about, is getting out and voicing your opinion. So thank you to all of those who worked on that and who ran, and congratulations to Mike and Austin, and to the mayor, and to the judge. So I do have, I had MPO on the 27th, and they did confirm. Still, it's up to the governor's, discretion on their, I'm not sure if she's signed it yet, but we were allocated $100,000 to do local road projects. They did talk about that. Oh, did she not, Jim?
It got vetoed.
Okay,
Yesterday.
the whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing is vetoed.
Okay.
Road projects because of the stock.
Okay,
oil stuff.
yeah, I knew things were gonna change because of the stock, but, as of last, on the 27th, that hadn't happened yet, so. Anyway, Paul Brasher is with DOT, and he is back being our representative for District 5 on the MPO. They talked about, Highway 64 is ahead of schedule, and they're also still working on that La Plata River Bridge. That were just some of the things that they discussed in that meeting. I will have EDAB a week from Thursday, and just want to remind all of you that the district meeting is in Gallup on March 23rd. So I don't know how it would work, but I think it would be important maybe for, if any of our newly electeds or whatever could go to that, it would help get their get their foot in the door. I don't know if any of you were planning on going. I think Tyson.
Unfortunately, my schedule, I'm going to be in Gallup anyway. I might be able to catch it. I have court that afternoon. Judge Aragon put me
I
on.
do plan on being down there as well.
So I just wanted to remind you about that. And also, just on a sad note, New Mexico Municipal League lost their director, Bill Fulgenetti. He had been there 37 years or something,
like that,
really
yeah.
long time. And he was a great advocate for all of our cities, and in New Mexico, he did a lot of work, and I know it's going to take them a little while to get kind of reorganized, because he was such a big part of that. He was a very well-respected, highly respected man in Santa Fe with on both sides of the table, and he did a lot of good things for our city, so he's going to be greatly missed. So. I did see the rescue trailer. It's really cool. If you don't get a chance, you should go out and check it out. And also for the MPO, once we do the reorganization of the boards and stuff, whoever is going to represent Aztec on that board they will need a letter.
Yeah, the mayor received that request last
Yeah,
week.
yeah. I think June said she was going to send it out, so I just wanted to make sure, because they are one that needs an official letter. So okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
I too went to the mayor's ball, and it was fun. Our table was fun.
It was.
Fun bunch of people. So that I appreciated that. And I went to San Juan County Partnerships Finance Committee meeting this week, and again, they're in transition from Pamela Drake's retirement. She'll be there another month or so. I went to the chamber meeting this morning, and I was impressed with all the activities that they're working on, getting started, and a chamber of commerce is so important to a community. And I've seen the highs and lows in Aztec over my many years of involvement, and I ask everybody to support the chamber. That's the place where we get people that gather volunteers and plan activities, and a lot of activities that are no longer here were sponsored by the chamber. So I appreciate you guys and appreciate the enthusiasm for the piano project and everything else that's going on. I particularly like the monthly cleanup project, and I think that'll go along with what we're planning for public art and to clean up downtown, and I certainly plan on being a part of that. So anyway, that's it.
Okay, thank you. I'll try and be kind of quick. I have a few items here. Obviously, I was also at the Mayor's Ball Saturday. Thank you for the kind words, Tyson. I appreciate that. And it's always a privilege and an honor to represent the city. And I always try and, not do too bad of a job. But I do appreciate the privilege of being able to do that. I want to congratulate the re-election of Commissioner Randall, of course, and Commissioner-elect Padilla. Congratulations to both of you. You ran fine races, and it showed at the ballot box, so well done. Judge Gray, of course, ditto to you, sir. And Sunday alcohol sales. Those are all positives, I'd say. I will be absent on the 24th. I'll be back visiting family and seeing my new grandkids, so I won't be here on the 24th. Mayor Pro Tem will be running the meeting. Just a quick reminder, many of us know, but because we have kids or grandkids, spring break officially starts at the end of the day this Friday. I'm pretty excited about that myself. But just, there's going to be a few more teenagers maybe out and about. It's definitely, if you've been around the school around 3 o'clock the last couple weeks with the warm weather, we're definitely catching a little spring fever out there. And I say that jokingly, but also a little bit of precautionary note because some of them are getting a little excited about driving their cars out of the parking lots and stuff. So just kind of keep an extra, cautious eye out so we don't get ourselves in any fender benders or any issues with any kids running around out there. The motocross track, their first actual race weekend is this weekend. A couple of my cadets went up there and helped with the caution flagging this past Saturday at the practice session, and I got there about 9:30 and it was already pretty busy. So I saw some Texas plates, I saw some Colorado plates, I saw a lot of New Mexico plates, a lot of folks taking their dirt bikes up there. So I think we're onto something up there. So kudos to Mr. Gallegos and his brother and all the folks that have supported it and advocated for it, and to the commission for helping with a little bit of funding. I think it's really going to turn into something big for this kind of first full season that everybody kind of knows what's going on up there now. And one last thing, I was on a conference call yesterday with the New Mexico Department of Health. Municipal League organized a conference call with a lot of the municipalities' mayors with the Department of Health kind of concerning the coronavirus. Nothing really new. We still, as of at least this morning, I haven't heard anything since to say anything otherwise, that we still have no confirmed cases in New Mexico. We started to receive some testing kits, I think in the range of 1,500 in the first shipment, as necessary, they'll be sent out to different places. I don't know when, maybe if, hopefully if, but probably when we start having some cases around the state. And it was more of just kind of a introductory thing. There is something, and forgive me for not remembering the exact name of the website, but there's kind of like a hyperlink within the Department of Health's website that you can get onto that will keep current statistics that are updated every evening. I know there's something on San Juan Regional's website for us to be able, like a hotline for us to be able to contact, and I believe on the city website we put that stuff up.
Put the links up on.
So there's information out there. If you have any questions, pick up the phone, get online, and if you don't get right to the information, you can get a hold of one of us and we can get you to the information that you may want. And with that said, there will be continuous updates, if necessary, with, the mayors and things like that if need be. But I'm sure you guys will know probably just as fast as we do. But it's just a thing that the state is trying to do to keep folks up to speed. And I think that is all I have for now. And I also want to just say rest in peace to Mr. Fulgenetti. I didn't know him well, but I met him a few times. He seemed like a very fine man, and he worked really hard for municipalities like ours, that sometimes our voice isn't always heard individually, but the collective with the municipal league gives us a bit of a megaphone to be heard at the state level when necessary. So his work will have to go on, and we appreciate everything he did, and it's sad of his untimely passing, and our thoughts are definitely with his family and loved ones right now. So that's all I have. Are there any department head reports? Seeing none, I will go ahead and move to adjourn. Thank you, folks.